Welcome back to Car Coach Reports. I'm Paul Fix, and this is the 2023 Jeep Grand Wagoneer Series 3 Obsidian with the twin-turbo Hurricane engine. Now, you may recognize the Grand Wagoneer's nameplate from the 60s, the 80s, the 90s, and last year. Well, this is the 2023 update, and we're gonna break everything down for you. For 2023, Jeep has the new Grand Wagoneer L, which is the long wheelbase variant. The Series 2 and Series 3 trims are coming standard with a turbocharged inline 6, and now available on the Series 3 is the full blacked out Obsidian package. Our test vehicle here has that Series 3 Obsidian package. Now, as a quick refresher about the vehicle, it is a 4-door, full-size, 3-row SUV with all-wheel drive and, of course, a big engine under the hood. Now, you'll notice the blackout package takes all these little bits and kind of makes them disappear into the body line, and actually I think it incredibly improves the looks all the way from the mirrors and the trim going all the way around the roof, all of the windows, plus, you know, a big blacked step out is very nice as well for convenience, but also the look is fantastic. And it really is a big vehicle. Jeep has not had a truck this big that will go against its 3-row full-size competitors in quite some time. But you can see with this size, you really do have a lot of storage, a lot of visibility, and a ton of room for seating. And we'll get to that a little bit later when we get to the interior. If I was spoiled with this kind of luxury when I was a kid, I don't think I'd ever get out of the back seat. This is a full-fledged entertainment system, and it is very impressive. It's got everything in it. Now, this piece of it is the 10.1-inch optional touchscreen as well, and that's only for the back 2 seats. The 3rd row does not get its own screen, but back here there really is quite a lot, an incredible amount of room, plus adjustability, which is great. You get your own vents, you get your rear climate control right here in the center console with air-conditioned seats, if you can believe it. Plus you get phone chargers in the center console, you get huge amounts of storage, and this really is a kid's playground back here. But even if I were the 3rd or the 4th wheel on a road trip, I would be in perfect luxury back here. You have a plethora of plugs with USB-C and USB-A plugs back here for both sides, plus in the center console. You have speakers from their Macintosh audio system built into the doors here, plus speaker system for the driver to talk to the kids in the back, plus a 360-degree camera, which will show you what's going on in the back so you don't have to crane your neck around or readjust the rear view mirror. By pushing this little button right here, the seat will pop forward, give you a little ding to let you know it's good to go, and you can climb very easily into the back 3rd row. While not as comfortable as the 2nd row back here in the 3rd row, it is still fantastic, and I wouldn't complain for a moment. You get seat adjustments right here on the panel, plus you get your own USB-C and USB-A charging, storage, cup holder, and you get access to this section here. Plus you get your own sunshade that you can manually operate. You have hooks back here, you have lights back here. Here's that 360-degree camera that I mentioned for the front there. You do not get a center section here, an armrest, a cup holder or anything, but you do have it in the door. I can see fitting an entire family in here for a road trip very easily, and you can even just take a little nap while you're at it. Welcome to the interior of the 2023 Jeep Grand Wagoneer Series 3 Obsidian, and you can see they really went all out with the design and the features and the technology. I mean, it is a very impressive suite of features. So let's kind of walk through everything that's here, starting with the main screen. Now, let's start here on the main screen, and you'll see that we have all of your main controls right here, very easy to touch. Your home, media, comfort, navigation, phone, which I do not currently have hooked up, your vehicle controls, including things like your family cam. Here's your 360-degree around view camera, plus your actual backup cameras and your 360 camera, plus additional apps that you can load in and download and organize as necessary. This is a very easy to use screen. All the controls are very obvious, nothing's very hidden. It's a little slow sometimes, but it's incredibly easy to use. Your basic climate controls are right here along this bar, but for additional climate controls, you'll notice that they're the same here and here. Now, you can control everything here if you want. You can control most things here, including your air-conditioned seats, your heated seats, and some general controls, but you can do more refined controls down here on this screen, which also tucks away to reveal where your phone charging is, your wireless phone charging. There's a tuck for cables. There's a 12-volt DC outlet, an HDMI cable, and USB-A and USB-C plugs for the rear and for the front, plus an auxiliary cable. So this car is absolutely chock full of entertainment options. You will not be wanting for that is for sure. Other basic controls down here, your shifter, your ride height, and your drive mode, which is just a little toggle to get you into rock, sand and mud, snow, auto, and sport. Down here you also have your speed control, your four-wheel drive low button, and what's very important is these drive modes, the rock option. Let me show you how that actually operates when I get to your instrument cluster screen. Let's flip through the drive modes real quick. You have your auto mode, little picture of the road. You have your sport mode, little picture of a racetrack. You got your snow mode, little animation there. Sand and mud, a little off-roading. And I'm going to try to put it in rock mode. And this is where it gets complicated. It says I need to enter four-wheel drive low. It automatically turns off traction control, and it's going to raise the vehicle to its max height. Off-road 1 achieved. All right, so it's one step shy. Traction control is officially off, and it confirms that for me. Now, I'm going to try to put it into four-wheel drive low, and it's going to tell me that I need to put it into neutral. So I'll put it into neutral. I'm going to give it a moment. I hear it engaging. Auto park has been disabled. Forward collision has been disabled. Traction control is disabled. And now I can put it into rock mode, and there's your little rock animation there. Okay, we are officially in rock mode now. It will rise to its final ride height, and then if I wanted to, I can activate the automatic speed control if I wished. In order to turn it off, you have to do the exact steps in reverse. So the car is still in neutral. I'm going to turn off four-wheel drive low. I just heard it disengage. Emergency braking, traction control, forward collision, auto park, all of those things have been reactivated. The car's automatically been set back to auto, and the car is still at the max ride height. I just tap down on this button twice and it will lower a lot quicker than it was going up, but kind of sink in. Also at high speeds, you'll notice, and especially in sport mode, the Grand Wagoneer will lower to its lowest suspension setting to make it more aerodynamic, and it will actually increase some handling. Now there's a lot of options in here, and if you are going to be test driving or owning a Grand Wagoneer, I highly recommend that you take a lot of time with this center screen to get familiar with it. There's a lot of controls that are hidden in here, but we're going to go over kind of quick. Starting here is your basic dash. Very simple. Now this is the kind of dash that I like. I want minimal things in my face. I don't want to be distracted. So you can hold down and you get your traditional dials. And you can tab over to your night mode, which activates the night vision camera. And once it turns on, and it does take a moment, you can see, well, there's a bush in front of me, but it is on, and it does work very reliably, and it's very easy to use. You're driving on the road, you glance down and you see it. Just like your HUD display, you just glance at it. You don't really need to stare at it. Then you have your driver assist menu here, and anytime you're going over a lane, or if you have someone in your blind spot, or if there's somebody in front of you, all of those things will appear right here. Then you can tab down through your efficiency and your temperatures for your different oils and pressures. And there's a lot of them, plus your tire pressures. Here's your trip menu. You can have your map, which I really like as well, and it looks different here than it does on the center screen, where this is a nice, dark, easy to look at. Over here, this is where more information is shown on your center screen. And then you have your off-road and your driving settings, and you can look at how it's gyroscoping and everything. Very, very cool. Plus your trailer settings for that 9,000 850 towing capacity if you need to. Plus your music, your messages, your screen setup, which you can only do while parked, your heads-up display, which would show up right there if it would show up on camera, and then we're back to here. One other very cool feature I think you should look at, there's a little panoramic button here in between the answer and hang up buttons, and it shows you this, which has a little bit of everything for you. And if you want more information versus less, this is probably the screen that you'll be sitting on, and you can always toggle through all kinds of different information. Here in the passenger seat, you get your own screen that you probably can't see from that camera angle, but here's some visuals of what's going on here. The screen itself cannot be seen by the driver or the passengers, so that you have full control over the audio, video, and even the controls for the back seat, including the cameras and even what your kids are watching on their Uconnect screens in the second row. This beast is powered by the Hurricane engine. It is a twin-turbo, 3-liter straight 6, producing 510 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. It's giving you 9,850 pounds of towing capacity. It's all through a 4-wheel drive off-road system, and you get an 8-speed automatic transmission to improve the fuel economy a little bit, which comes out to 17 combined mpg. Let's talk about the interior comfort and the drivability and the performance of this Grand Wagoneer. Now, it being the Series 3, it comes standard with the inline 6 twin-turbo Hurricane engine, and it's a good amount of power. 510 horsepower, I think, is plenty get up and go for a vehicle of this size. And if you want it to be a little bit touchier, a little bit sportier, you can always drop it into sport mode right here. But that being said, I think because of its size, it really does need this amount of power. As for comfort, the seats are fantastic. I am wrapped in luxury right now, more than I thought for a Jeep and more than I thought for this price. But I will say that it took me a little while to get comfortable. All the controls are here on the door panel on both sides for the front seats. You do have memory settings, and you have massage buttons here on the door, plus your air conditioned and heated buttons right here, plus your steering wheel heated button right here next to your screen. And it did take me a little bit to get comfortable. I had to play around with some of these controls because there's a lot of functionality in how you can adjust the seat to your liking. The screens are incredibly easy to read and to use. All the buttons are large, readable, clear, understandable. You don't have to guess at what a particular thing means, which makes it all the easier when you are driving, because you really should be focused on the road, which is all of these plus the 120 standard safety features, including forward collision, lane change assist, lane keep assist, blind spot warning. All of those things combined with the easy usability of the interface really keeps your eyes on the road and allows you to focus without getting distracted by a myriad of other things, which is part of the reason why they've included the rear seat view for the screen here. Plus you have a digital rear view mirror, which is incredibly useful at night and in difficult visibility. If your kids are screwing around in the back and you can't see what's going on behind you, you can just pop that little switch right there. As for the ride quality, this whole time I've been talking, we've been on a very rough road that's been doing a ton of patching to cover up potholes and honestly not doing a great job of it. But the Grand Wagoneer does a really great job of absorbing all of those little bumps. Now, I can't say that it's the smoothest ride. I feel kind of floaty, and I'm almost used to a stiffer suspension in most cars where when you go over a bump, you know that you're going over a bump. And when you float, you kind of feel like you're losing traction even when you're not. So it's a level of comfort, I guess, that you have to decide if that's the kind of style that you want, or you just put it in sport mode at all times. It stiffens the suspension, and then you don't have to worry about that complaint, though you will have to worry about your fuel economy. I am a big fan of the flat bottom steering wheel. I think this belongs in every vehicle on the road these days. Helps you turn a lot easier. And there is all of your power. It's just enough. Could it use more? Yeah, but it's not an M product. It's not an RS product. It's nothing like that. It's just a really great, luxurious truck. Some things that I found in the interior while we're here is that the screen can be a little bit slow. Both of these screens can be a little bit slow, although Unfortunately, it's become a standard of the industry these days where the newest technology was developed to be put into these cars when the car was being developed, but that wasn't this year. That was years ago when they were developing the car. So all of this tech is old. They're trying to make it modern, and they end up compromising on speed and fluidity for features. Powering the audio, that everything is controlled by this 10.7-inch Uconnect infotainment system, is your Macintosh audio system, and the audio quality is pretty darn good. It feels a little bassy. You can hear that there's some refinement. And for somebody who really enjoys audio technology like myself, you kind of have to pick and choose when it comes to your automotive brands, because different brands partner with different audio companies, and the different audio systems do sound different, probably based on the kind of experience that they want you to have as the driver. Something like Harman Kardon may be a more even, exciting sound. Something like Bose will be more bassy. Something like Bang & Olufsen will be more refined and much less bassy with higher mids. The Macintosh system, I think, is a good balance. It is a little bassy, but I think it's fantastic, and for your everyday listening, it's going to be really good. But the sound, the music that comes out of it, I think is excellent. And if you are really into music, I think it is worth the upgrade for the audio system. You can activate your surround view camera by the touch of a button right here, also by putting the vehicle into reverse, and you can see you have different camera options to help you maneuver. And of course, just the rear view camera if you just need to quickly check what's behind you. One of my favorite features that I've mentioned here is the fam cam. And you can see here, I'm going to stick my hand behind me, and you can see right there on the screen live, I'm wiggling my fingers. You can see what everybody's doing right there, every seat. And look, if I had kids messing around back there, this would be the way to do it. You can also tap on each section of the car, each of the 6 sections, and you can see what's going on in that individual seat. Let's say that you have your baby right here, and you don't want to look back here. You can see my hand again. You don't want to have to turn your head behind you. You can just tap the seat, and there's your view. The Grand Wagoneer has a very impressive amount of cargo space. Behind the third row, you have 27 cubic feet, and if you put the second and third rows down, you get 94 cubic feet of storage. Plus, you get a full-size spare, which is underneath the bumper here. Just under this panel, you have a little bit of extra storage, and here you have some braces, some netting, bag for more equipment, and little spots you can put stuff. Plus, underneath this panel is your emergency jack. On the right side of the trunk, you have your buttons to drop the seats, and the third row is automatic with 2 separate sides. And then your second row drops down with just a touch of a button. You have to manually put them back up. But really, if you need this much space, you're probably going to want that island to come out, and it does not move. But this is your full 94 cubic feet of storage. The 2023 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, and in particular this Series 3 Obsidian, which is pretty darn cool, is a big animal to take on the road. You get an incredible amount of luxury, plus the horsepower, the technology, tons of room, tons of storage, plus the looks, and it's all American made. On the downsides, it's got poor fuel economy, and for as much technology as there is to make the driving really, really good, and it is really good, incredibly luxurious, absorbs bumps and everything, but it's kind of floaty over some potholes and curbs and things like that. Really, it compromises the agility with just the sheer size of the vehicle. It really does kind of come all together in a great package, especially at this price point, competing with the other vehicles on the market. Now, if you want to check out the competitors, go check out the description below, and we have them all listed. It's everything in the full-size luxury segment, like the Lincoln Navigator, the Lexus LX600, the BMW X7. There's a lot of companies competing for this market, which would be essentially the big family car. Now, this starts at $93,000, and as tested with this Series 3 and Obsidian package, our Grand Wagoneer is $114,000. But I want to know if you think it's worth it pop down into the comments where we will be reading and responding to what you have to say. We want to know if you've test driven this, if you've bought one, if you like it, if you didn't like it, and why. Let's start the conversation. And if you liked this video, like, subscribe, share with a friend who might be interested in a brand new Jeep Grand Wagoneer, and make sure to follow us on social media, check out our podcast, our book, and we'll see you next time.